This man, Gachagua, a real threat to the government. Others view him as a kingmaker. Others also have the opinion that he is a threat to the peace of the country. Let's look at his fate. Joining me on the hot seat on the Turning the Mirror podcast is Ruth Kaboko.
Yeah, this is where we turn the mirror, the perspective you never told.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this man Gachagua, he was impeached in a way that most Kenyans saw it wasn't the best way, or it shouldn't have happened, and he's won the heart of so many Kenyans, numerous of them. So he's walking behind him is walking a very big mass of people, and we are asking the question. The government is so worried, and
you know what makes it funny is the reasons as to why he was impeached. Do you think, okay, if the reasons were valid, who is doing them more? The president himself.
Of course.
Why did they then impeach Gachagua?
Yeah, you know, the Gachagua has been in this government, and him being the deputy president in the Kenya Kwanza government, you realize he has a lot of information that if he decided today to release the information to social media or maybe to the public, it will be a very big threat to the government. Also, the fact that he has warned numerous people, and also the government, the Kenya Kwanza government has been this their first term, and they will be willing, or maybe they wish to, and the second term in the office. So the question they are asking themselves, will they really manage to win back the people, especially the people of Mount Kenya where Gachagua comes from, because he's lost their grounds already.
I'm looking at it this way. Gachagua has been the deputy president for 2 years, close to 2 years. During his tenure as the deputy president, he must have created links in the security forces, and therefore he always have, even to date, he always has the intelligence. Everything that is happening within and outside the corridors of the government, what the president is doing, what he's planning, and even that is why you could hear him talk about abductions and threaten to disclose where and who is doing these things. So he has intelligence, and he knows what is happening. So number one, that makes him a big threat. Number two, after being impeached, remember, he accepted that he's a village boy. He's a village man. And therefore, that narrative was popularly accepted by his kinsmen back in the mountain.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is making him more popular. And you realize that today Gachagua is anywhere he goes. And you know, the government, the more they suppress his actions, the more they keep sending people away from the events where he is, the more popular Gachagua becomes. So he's a big threat. And of course, he has also talked about the resurgence of the Mungiki sect. Remember, this is a group that was outlawed.
Yeah, you know, I remember back in 2007, back at home, we were often threatened that you must always be very careful that Mungiki can come from any direction. So we just kept being fearful at night. Any plane that could pass maybe up in the atmosphere, we thought that it could be running to drop some Mungikis down to kill us and destroy us. And the Mungiki sect are very dangerous people. And
talk to the people of the mountain, those who saw them in action, and they'll tell you very weird things about this Mungiki sect. So I think when Gachagua talks about the resurgence of the Mungiki sect, it should not be looked at. Of course, it might be political, but it should not be wiped away just like that. It should not just be wished away like that.
Let's speak about the Mungiki. Who leads the Mungiki, and why is he supporting the Kenya Kwanza government, or what is the deal between the two?
Okay, as far as I know, I don't have very much information about Mungiki, but as far as I know that there's this guy called Maina Njenga. He's, according to how the media normally puts him, and even how he presents himself out there, is the former chairman of the Mungiki sect. But then there's one unique thing about Maina Njenga. He supported the Kibaki government in 2007. When now the government was in place and stable, they were after him. Why? They knew something. And so they were seeing him as a threat. Again, when Uhuru Kenyatta came to power, Maina Njenga was there. Again, when the government was stable, they were after him. Why? There was something they feared about him. So Maina Njenga was with opposition chief Raila Odinga during the 2022 elections, general elections, and actually ran for Senate of Laikipia, if I'm not wrong. And what has now happened? Because even during the protests organized by Raila himself and the opposition then, Maina was part of the opposition that were protesting against this regime. What is it that he has now seen good about this government that makes him now join this government?
You know, this guy has been joining these governments. It means it's about deals. He's a person who maybe is after some personal interest or something, maybe after being paid, like the Kenya Kwanza government, you know, it is trying to find its roots in Mount Kenya, who are often known to be the people who decide who becomes the president of the country. You know, after Gachagua leaving the government and getting away with the masses, so the government is trying to look, do we bring or silence Gachagua, or maybe find a strategy how we can win them back? You know, winning them back has been so difficult for the government because whatever they do to Gachagua, it scares the mountain away from him. And maybe getting to Maina Njenga is like he's trying to fight that man and creating some sort of coalition. You know, yeah.
I've seen the current deputy president, Kindiki, now have started fighting Gachagua.
Yeah, something he was very silent about.
And this, to some extent, will automatically divide the mountain more.
Yeah.
More and more. And I don't know, because initially people were talking about the president trying to divide the mountain so that he makes sure their votes are now not a block the way it has always been. Do you think the president has succeeded in dividing the mountain? If at all that was his intention?
Of course, he's succeeding even more. With the Mungiki thing, and maybe on his side, and Gachagua on the other side, and maybe continuing to maybe employ some more strategies, and also implanting people in the mountain, and using the people of the mountain to fight against their own selves, he's succeeding. Divide and conquer.
There's one more thing Gachagua, maybe he knows, and he's not ready to do it, or maybe he doesn't know. You know, what is happening here is very clear and very simple. He is a threat, of course, that is true. And he knows so much about this government. So the best he can do now is to speak about everything, all the wrongs he knows about this government. Whatever he does when given a chance, or when he calls the press and sits with them down, I would call that theatrics. Because people seated down and waited for him to speak and spoil and spill it out. He didn't do that. Again, when he comes to the media, he just threatens. He tells you, I know this, but then threatens, and then doesn't give details into this. Remember, when he does that, the government knows he's a threat.
Yeah.
It's simple. They'll even start maybe court cases, maybe they'll be after his assets or something, just to silence him.
Does Gachagua fear, or he just trying to find his political fate before he set that out?
Maybe he's not sure about what he talks about. Yeah. Maybe he's sure and he fears.
Okay. You know, Gachagua, his political fate, what about it? That is he in any way still liable to vie for any political position?
Right now, as it stands, he's not eligible to run for any office, elective office, with the current constitution. But of course, his case is not yet over. If he wins the case at the courts, then he would be viable to vie for any position.
I've seen him.
If he doesn't completely, then he'll just be a kingmaker. Okay. He can decide this the direction, and I'm quite sure the majority of the Mount Kenya voters would follow that.
You sure? With the strategies the Kenya Kwanza government is trying to employ? Let's wait and see. Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Leave us your comments.
Thank you so much.
My name is Kwach.
Welcome next time.